2 minutes. Anything I need to before I go before we do that? We good? I underline the approvals that we have to do, and item delta under section 4, we don't do that until the attorney is present. Okay? And Mrs. Holt, Dr. Holt,
I mean, Miss Catherine, Miss Holt, is that right?
yeah.
I get it a lot.
Okay, are you in here in the agenda? Or
I haven't seen it, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, she's, you know, the new, director of finance, accounting firm, and taking the director's place,
Okay. So I'm just asking, do I need to address anything here with her, or are we good?
No, she just gonna have.
Yeah, I'm just introducing myself today, and I'll be prepared with some financials. I'm working through them, and then I'll try to produce them right now for the next meeting.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, you can see it.
No, she need the chair and move over.
You want me to move the chair? I can do that. Perfect.
Hold on, let me. Look, y'all, I watch a lot of cowboy movies. So that was behind me. Y'all didn't let me know.
Sorry about that. Didn't mean to stir you.
No, we did before.
Yes, we have.
Very kind, anyway.
Oh, thank you.
And you were representing what?
The Post Courier.
Oh, the cost.
Yes.
Okay, first time.
Yeah, we were at the meeting just the other day.
Yes, we were.
You attend so many.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's I had to shut this stuff down. All right, it's 10 o'clock, and so, good morning, God bless you to all. We'll now begin with the roll call, starting to my left.
Ladyball Wiggs, Vice Chair Board. Jennifer Mann, Deputy Director. Brenda King, Operation Assistant.
Russell Bradley, executive director.
Catherine Holt, CPA.
Wanda Green, Commissioner.
Amen. Okay. The guest to my left. Okay, guest to my left.
Alligator Music, Post Courier.
Okay, good morning to all. And at some point, do you want to just let Ms. Holt speak, or do you want to?
Well, we can just have her, she's gonna talk to us about the finance a little bit.
Okay, well, let us go through the prayer and the pledge of allegiance, and then we'll put a flag. Marie, would you open this in prayer, please?
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the day that you have given us. I pray that you're with us with unity as we come together to better serve your people. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Let us rise with a flag in your heart, somewhere, amen.
Yes, it is.
All right. Pledge allegiance to the
And the
flag
flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. God bless America. All right, beloved, before you see the agenda in your email, you would take a moment and glance over it again, and then I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as written, unless there's something that needs to be added. Okay, at your pleasure.
I moved that the minutes of the board.
But let's look at the agenda first, and
I thought you said.
I did not see minutes. I'm in the agenda.
This is approved for the agenda.
Mm-hmm.
You made the motion that we approve the agenda, correct? I said the motion that we approve the agenda.
We ready for the question? All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. We now ask you to approve the previous minutes from March 18, 2025.
Yeah, come on in.
Once you come in your new love, you come on in.
Come in and pass me up.
All right. You come in your love, come on in. Good morning to you. We apologize. Of course, we're not in the larger room this morning. There's some training going on. Okay, while we're waiting, can we approve the minutes, please? Okay, we have a motion to approve the meeting, minutes for the meeting held March 18, 2025. We have a second or minute for the question? Ready for the question? All in favor?
Yes.
Actually, you say nay. All in favor? Any nays? Motion carried. All right, Dr. Bradley, we're now down to section 4. Our attorneys are in place, so we can begin with the new business.
Okay. All right, y'all. I'm gonna stand up on this one. This is discussion and approval of establishing the portability school, and this is a area of our Pine Street office. This is Pine Street, and that is
The former headquarters.
yeah, former headquarters. And here is where we did the resident services one-stop shop here, which actually was on last month's agenda, but when we canceled the meeting, that's why we didn't talk about it. I don't know, but that's what we did. And this building is in very good condition. So when we say we want to have an portability school, we're not talking about hiring people or nothing like that. Basically, all we're doing is having space in here to partner with Florence Government Tech, and Council Development, Workforce Development, so that they can offer their programs and classes here for our residents. So Dana Rutledge, who is the person over there, she'll be over the whole campus, and so we're not adding any positions. We may have to get a receptionist, that's about it. But no new positions. We're taking advantage of this facility to offer classes, GED, all kind of training for the residents, and to go along with our home ownership program and our FSS program, so that they can get the training, so that they can get off of public housing and become homeowners. All of that training goes in. This place here can do it. It does not take a lot of money at all. Basically, we may have to take down a few partition walls. But other than that, that's about it. And get a receptionist.
Less than $10,000?
20,000.
20 homes, okay.
Yes. And so, yeah. So we really, I mean, even when we look at positions, everything is basically paying for itself. We got one permanent housing position, we got FSS grant, and we had the person came over to do FSS who was our moving work coordinator, so she's already in the budget. So with the extra money, we can pay some damn salary to run the whole thing. So we're talking about very minimal increase to do all of this stuff to really, really help our residents. And so, and take advantage of this space that's just sitting.
Okay.
So what I need to do to go forward is I just want to present it to the board, and y'all can approve me to go forward and do all these things. And I'll go ahead and I'll present elderly things, whenever the numbers come up, exactly how much it costs, and I can show you that. But I just want to get your permission to move forward.
Okay, when you say move forward, you mean to actually establish it?
To actually go ahead and do the work that needs to be done here, go ahead and get the partnership commitment letters from Florence One, from Florence Architect, from Council of Government, and what they're going to be doing. Dana activated to put this all together, and then we'll move forward with that. So.
Okay, so the wording in section A of subsection A of item number 4 is discussion and approval of establishing an employability school for residents at 400 Pine Street. Beloved, what is your pleasure on this?
Excuse me. I move that we go ahead and do the approval for him to continue the employability school for the residents on 400 Pine Street. I think it's an awesome idea. I attended the groundbreaking ceremony, and it really enlightened when I saw all of the community partners there.
Yes.
Everybody to the table. It just made me say, great job.
Do you have a second for the approval and establishing an employability school for residents at 400 Pine Street? I have a second.
Second.
Okay, you've heard the motion and we have a proper second. Are you ready for the question?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
In between the time of getting permission that we will go forward with this, can we have a meeting interval in between here to see where it is? And also need to, I'm asking my question of a time frame.
Okay. So when will it be open?
Not going to be open, I mean, we're at a point where we got
You want to move forward.
move forward.
Yeah.
But at this point in time, do you have any any reason why we could not meet or will meet in between there to assess where we are and moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, we can give you an update at the next meeting. I think I would really like for y'all, if you to go over there and look inside too. I think we trashed it out. So it would be good for the board to look at it too. And I think at the next meeting would be a good time for you to give you an update where we are. That's fine. And then, I think it's gonna take maybe about 3 months before we can get everything pulled together. And so we'll be getting, updates every month.
So you give us an update at the next meeting where we are? Okay, thank you. I have a question.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion carried. Y'all got a nice 5 second delay on these ayes and nays. Just help me laugh, though. I need to laugh. Okay. Brother Chair, go ahead, please.
Item B,
Executive Director.
we on our HUD compliance audit, there's a couple of items in there that we need to get board approval, board certification on. And Jennifer, can you go ahead and
previous meeting, we approved the reasonable accommodation, but they have requested that we have a certification of compliance signed by the board chair and, the executive director. And that removes that finding from HUD that we received when HUD came to do our review. Prior, you approved the reasonable accommodation because we had a discussion about it, but they just need that piece of paper saying, okay, certification of compliance, that we are in compliance.
Okay, that's the corrections that we all had to do.
Correct.
Have we seen all the corrections that you've done?
Yes, we discussed reasonable accommodation at our prior meeting.
Okay, we went through everything.
So this is just for the reasonable accommodation?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
The next one you're gonna see here, which I have a copy for each one of you, is when we hired the outside contractor, and he actually came in and did an inspection of 100% of our public housing units. And he sent a letter certifying that all our units were inspected by KBNL Housing. And attached, you will see when he inspected last year and his schedule of his inspections for this year.
Okay, so in yellow,
That was 2024. So the ones he got scheduled is on the next page. These are the ones he scheduled for this year.
but now we have some others for 2024 that do not in yellow, so. What is that?
Well, see, you see the end date, you see the dates, when he started and the end, the start date and the end date.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why he got those few at the top highlighted, I don't know.
Okay, that's what I was asking, is there a significance
Right.
between those that are highlighted and those that are not highlighted? Okay. And then we have all the 2025 that will begin near the very end of this month.
Correct.
He indicates a report. So this just says the dates and time, but is there another report that shows?
He actually says the findings for each property, so that's where maintenance goes, we create work order, and they go out and they correct the findings that the contract found.
Do we have a lot of lines, like what is the percentage?
No, each property is sort of different. Your bigger sites like, for instance, like Churchill, Oakland, the ones that are older sites, you have more findings on those sites than you do your elderly sites.
I would like to see a copy of the findings.
Okay.
Before, make
Well, this is just certifying that the inspection was done, not the actual
we
work.
don't need to see each other this time.
No, you just need, the compliance says verifying that he did do the inspection.
Okay.
Because when HUD was here, it was stated that we didn't do annual inspections. And how they got that information, I do not know, but we did annual inspections for 2024, and we contracted with him to do it for 2025, and each year moving forward.
So is the report in a digital form or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're gonna, your request for to see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can actually email them out.
Yeah.
I can email them out because it's gonna be a lot of, we have 11 different sites here. So I can email them to you.
Yeah, we good. No, I can do paper.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so this needs to be signed by two of us. Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to C now. Okay. All right, so I guess it's a good, kind of piggyback off of what we got a lot of, most of the housing units that we have in Florence were built in 1970. And it costs a tremendous amount of money for maintenance. And so the only way that we can build new, because of the federal government, they limit us to how many public housing units we have, we got to dispose of the old ones in order to get new ones. And so after some years before he and I got here, the housing authority identified a number of scattered sites to dispose of. And after I got here, I had, one of the directors of, facilities to go back over and reassess the sites for me. What we have here is, 59 scattered sites, that we can sell at auction. The process for that is, it starts with board approval. Then we have to send it to city council, and then get city council approval. And then we submit to HUD and go through all the process with HUD. So, board approving, the disposal of the homes, the scattered sites, listed, will start the process, that we move forward with.
Question. Are these scattered sites, these ones that we're looking at for disposal, are they occupied with tenants right now?
Yes.
How are they going to be replaced?
No, they still have an option to live there. But when the person who purchases, would have to, agree to allow.
So if they're sold, these people who are in these houses, they can stay there or go somewhere else.
Yeah, he had something to say.
Not running over this one mentions for the board. We consent to authorize a resolution granting the executive director the authority to proceed with the disposition of those properties for the statute.
Okay.
Question, how can we assure that the owner, because once we sell them, we don't have any say so. So how do we know that the purchaser will allow those people the option to stay?
You would have to put it in the agreement. The purchase, they would have to allow an option to say.
So then, go ahead. I'm just looking at the big,
Yeah.
Just like a couple different points, legally it's subject to some level of lease agreement. We could put certain provisions in there, but also restricted covenants could govern the property far beyond the housing authority's ownership, where limited its use for affordable housing purposes. So, there's several ways to look at it, whether it be sold. Another option could be, consideration of disposition of those properties to, either your nonprofit or other nonprofit entities that focus upon affordable housing. So there are options you can consider which take that off your rolls as far as count against your maximum number of units that could allow you to own. So you do have some options there.
at the sale of these properties, the tenant, would they have an option to purchase their property? Or are they gonna be sold at market value, which is, these days are higher than really what some of them are worth, but is that an option? Do you think people will be in place to be able to do that?
Well, I think we probably see if we have any of them that's able to.
Yeah, because I know everybody couldn't, probably not able, but somebody did, you just never know.
Yeah, I think when we get a little further down the road, we can look at all the different options, like I said, protecting the resident, while at the same time giving us an option to remove these from our fair law limits so that we can get newer units that, to offer to the residents, we won't have to keep spending all this money on maintenance.
So, this is an option, or is this being mandated by the law?
No, it's not mandated by HUD.
Okay.
It's in looking at our portfolio, it doesn't make sense for us to continue with these 50-year-old units.
Okay.
What we're running at right now in maintenance with these properties?
I'll have to,
So, what was your determining factor to put these houses on the list? I'm sure it's not on the high crime area, so what else do we go by? The years and
age,
age?
the areas, areas, they're harder to get people to agree to go over there, to move there, and it's in most of the high crime areas.
Are any of these properties vacant at this time?
I'll have to check that. I'm sure there's some. I know I've seen some of the ones in Woodmont. I know some of those.
So we have properties that no one is looking at right now, scattered houses.
Yeah, some of them being repaired and stuff like that.
How long are they vacant before someone get them? Because those are the ones I feel like we should be looking at first, the ones that got the most problems to get rid of. And whatnot, but that makes sense to me, but I'm just one person, I'm just saying.
Well, that's what I think that's what we're doing. The ones there's a much larger list than this. There's 153 houses that we have scattered sites involved. We're not getting rid of all of them. We just chose the ones that oldest in the area, and some that moisture area, room issues and stuff like that too. So.
And to the point that was made about home ownership, the state statute does provide that you can look into home ownership options for properties that you deem surplus to be taken off the rolls. It's just that, as Dr. Bradley said, all of those types of dispositions have to be approved in accordance with state law by the city council that created the housing authority. So some of this has to be done in conjunction with the city. So,
Once you approve it, then it's going to the city next, and then they have to approve it.
Dr. Perez, that house on, I see you got a house on Wilson Road, but if that house on Wilson Road on here, the one that, where we rode around in the van, the board, the house was a flooded house, and had mold and everything in it. On the water, that house, that's one need to be on the list. I know you got it, they fixed it, but it didn't.
That's a good example. I think that's a good example, because that house has been repaired, I think, like
So
2
many
or 3 times.
More than
And there's so much moisture in the ground that it continues to, why not the floor? So,
So, a moisture barrier needs to be installed underneath the house. And that's, depending on what you get to do it, this can be quite expensive. But if the house is worth salvaging, if it's not worth it, you just tear it down. Because you can't live in a house with mold. But moisture barriers, in certain areas have to be, there's a high water level, has to be installed underneath. And also with monitors and, probably some added ventilation. Okay, well,
No,
Well, I think this is moving in the right direction. It's gonna help us to get better units, less maintenance, and be able to come up with a plan to replace these 59 units. I think we're moving in the right direction when you think about the cost of maintenance and different problems, and it's pretty good.
Commissioner Ryan? Your thoughts?
My thoughts are, we should be looking into making this a priority
Okay,
and getting these
all right.
basically.
Well, based on what I'm hearing, I'm ready to entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I can just clarify, the motion that we made would be authorizing a resolution determining that these would be surplus properties to be further assessed for disposition in accordance with certain approvals by city council. That probably needs to be the form of motion today.
I think
The motion has been made to, I guess, present a resolution, and we have a proper second. All, are you ready for the question?
Yes. Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All any nays? Motion carried. And brother, you will email us that extensive legalese.
We'll see something, but just, and we can prepare a resolution form that would set forth those properties that was on the agenda for work without Bradley.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Man, did you get all that?
I think so.
I just want to make you, if there's anything that you're not clear on, please ask.
Sounds great, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, item D, approval of ground lease option for open place rad. I wanna, ask attorney, Martha and Joseph to talk about this issue. They've been working with us, helping us with our, open place rad conversion.
Good morning again, members of the board, appreciate Dr. Bradley, appreciate you allowing us to speak today. We've been working with Dr. Bradley, as he mentioned, on the open place reposition and working with the developer that was selected through the competitive process for the redevelopment of that site. What they have proposed to do is to create a 64-unit affordable housing complex that would be a tear down and rebuild, and they will submit to the state Housing Finance and Development Authority seeking low-income housing tax credits to support the development of the site. The selection process for LIHTC, as we call it, is a very competitive process where a scoring system is involved, considering sites all across the state of South Carolina. And certain sites that have various attributes receive higher points or lower points depending upon the makeup of the development. One of the ways to receive higher points is if you have some level of support from a housing authority, and along with that, a ground lease for property that is no more than $100 per year for the redevelopment site. Speaking to some of the questions that were asked earlier about preserving long-term affordability for low-income persons, that's the intent of this. You're transitioning those former owned sites to sites where you leverage the private development community to offer new housing, to manage that new housing, but to ensure the same income qualifications that would have been in place as you operated as a housing authority, that they will still be in place. So we have reviewed the option to lease that they proposed. We felt that some adjustments were needed legally to better protect the housing authority. So we have that document here today, and certainly can share it. Dr. Bradley's seen it as well. What we would ask for today with Dr. Bradley's feedback is a motion to authorize the executive director to execute an option to lease real property that would be identified as the Oakland Place development, subject to any changes or modifications that might be advised by legal counsel. I think the deadline for submission to the state housing authority is Friday of this week, so the benefit of this is just you get extra points for the development sites. And it's the 9% low-income housing tax credit is a very rich tax credit. It can raise sometimes up to 70% of the development cost of the site by selling those future tax credits to individuals who pay the money up front to you, you being the developer, and they use that cash equity to build a project with maybe some limited financing or other cash. So it's incentivized, the developers incentivized by that cash to accept the lower rents that go along with the affordability period that HUD requires. So this option to lease is essentially a mechanism to help this project site receive better points in the overall scoring with hopes of securing an award of tax credits. So we just ask for a motion to authorize the executive director to enter into the option to lease, and the name of the entity is Oakland Place RAD 2024. Oakland Place RAD 2024 LLC. So a motion to enter into an option to lease, authorizing the executive director to sign it with such modifications as might be advised by legal counsel.
In quoting Denzel Washington's character in the great movie Philadelphia, explain this to me like I'm a fourth grader.
I guess the simplest way to put it is this. You have a developer who's saying to you, I want to take your rundown piece of property, and I'm going to build something nice in it, and I'm going to get somebody else's money to help me do that. And in order to get somebody else's money, I've got to submit a proposal to the state of South Carolina, and they will rank my proposal based upon, a number of points. If you give me this ground lease at $100 a year, I can get some extra points, which helps you have nice, pretty housing to replace your aged housing that needs to be torn down. So by your approving this lease, you're giving me the opportunity to make you look good by developing some new housing on a site that you own, that you no longer have to worry about maintaining. Almost we're talking about these properties here. You're going to be basically allowing me to rebuild on your property and lease it to me, and I'm going to do the same thing with you. Is that, as they say, simplistic enough?
Simplistic enough. Now, duration of that lease?
They requested 99 years, but one of the concerns that I had, and I took that out of the option so they can further explain, tech requirements, local and housing tech requirements, deal with your question, Chris, when you asked me, how long of a period of time can we ensure they're going to continue operating these properties and leasing them to people who are of low income or income qualifications? Tech requirements typically will have a 15-year, or what they call affordability period, meaning you've got to rent for at least 15 years to people who qualify in the same way as they would to live in your properties. But they also do a 15-year extended use period according to the federal regulations, so that's 30 years. So my question was, if they want 99 years, we would want many more restrictions in place beyond just the tech affordability period. Because if you have a traditional tax credit deal, meaning if they were just finding a piece of property on their own, not coming to the housing authority and just applying for tax credits, they're only going to be bound for 30 years. But if they're asking you for a 99-year lease in a traditional project, after those 30 years, they jack the rent up to market value. So if they want beyond 30 years, I think our perspective should be either we have restrictions that run with the property for the duration of that time, ensuring affordability, number one, or number two, we don't need 99 years. Most people want 99 years because that's tantamount to ownership when you think about depreciation over time. I'm not necessarily a prophet, but I kind of think 99 years from now, we all in this room are not going to be here. It's possible, but it's safe to say we don't know what the world will be like then.
Right.
But we want to be sure that everything instead of going as it is now is still preserved for people who need affordable housing, whatever that means and looks like in the future. So
then in during that period, of course, the developer is going to get tax credits, and the developer is going to benefit financially through leases. Aside from looking great on the surface, will this entity reap any financial benefit?
there are developers fees that are authorized by the South Carolina State Housing Authority as a part of the award of tax credits. And they set guidelines for those. They set a maximum amount of the developer's fee. If the developers want to also serve to some degree as a contractor, there could be fees that are paid to them for that. There'll be administrative fees, just like, for example, the Housing Authority receives an administrative fee for the sites it manages. This, developer will receive the same thing. So there is a financial benefit for them in that sense. But the biggest piece of that is the benefit to have nice, new, affordable housing for citizens who live in this area. And I do want to clarify, this isn't a lease agreement. This document says they've got to come back and negotiate the final lease agreement with you. This is just their option, saying that you're giving them an exclusive option through January of next year, January 31st to be exact, to negotiate a lease agreement, and it's only contingent upon them, number one, getting on one of the tax credits, which will be monumental in this area. These projects are very hard to get around the state of South Carolina, and even across the country, because there's such a rich credit. And then number two, agreeing to the restrictions you put on there, whatever you determine to do.
And as our attorneys, you feel that this is something good for us?
I do. I would say, that, Joseph and I have worked with, affordable housing developers across the state of South Carolina, and this is a great opportunity. If you can, for Florence County, through participation in this way, secure the opportunity to build a new 64-unit development that meets today's standards, that has energy efficiency components built into it, that has handicap accessibility and other things that would be required of these new development types, I think it's a win for the community. And you get to preserve, in the long term, the ability of this site to remain available for people who really need affordable housing for a long time. So it's a great opportunity.
Questions? It says that we should approve this, or is requesting approval, so I'm not entertaining a motion.
I move that we approve the ground lease options for Oakland Place Rad 2024 LLC.
And Commissioner Barway, you would mind also adding as part of the motion, authorizing the executive director to execute the option with such changes or modifications as may be recommended by legal counsel.
And also authorize the executive director to make any decisions, to contact the legal counsel before you make the decision to approve for him to have that. So in other words, he'll see that.
And we'll get that straight as far as the minutes.
I need a second, beloved. Motion has been made based on the statement by our legal counsel. And a second, we have a second, so now I ask you a question, and you're ready for the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Sir, I do thank you for wording this properly for our minutes so that I can read it again.
That's why we're here.
Yeah,
Thanks so much.
I was pre-law. I never went to law school, so the Lord had other plans for me. So anyhow, some of that I understood it, but I asked you when I asked the question, I wasn't trying to be funny.
No.
It's just that there are people that are going to view this, and I want everybody who views it to be able to understand clearly
Yes.
what you're saying. And so just you will find that I'm going to ask you to break it down a lot of times.
No problem with doing so, and please feel free at one time. I'm a pastor. And so when we preach, we are taught, don't preach over the head of the congregation. Stand up there with a whole bunch of seminary words, and it goes over the congregation's head. They can't get it. Well,
Jesus is very simple in he explains things. All right, thank you so very much for appreciating it. Got it here.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
The disciples all come to Jesus and back in and say, man, you know something about this?
Exactly. Why did you just say that? Tell us that and break it down. So Jesus used parables.
Ready for all the calls and
Okay. Dr. Bradley, now on your agency reports, asset management, contracts, maintenance, and finance. And I got it under subsection C. That's where Mrs. Holt is going to talk to us, or?
Yes.
Just ask.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
Sir.
this, general manager is gonna talk to us about A&D.
Okay, asset management report, we're gonna start with status report.
That's on
On page 6, unit status report. Pine Cloud and Lakota currently has 4 vacancies, which puts them at year-to-date at 95.66% occupancy. Church Hill, 166 units, currently 10 sitting vacant. That actually gonna put us at 96.82%. Oakland Place, 64 units, 1 vacant, 95.98%. Waverly, 20 units, 100% occupancy. Bridgeland, 50 units, 7 vacant, 89.43%. As of today, that number has actually changed because they had 4 move-ins. The next one is Parkview Plaza, 60 units, 52%. Creekside Village, 100 units. 36 of those units have filled out a mod, so they're actually showing vacant. That drops it down to 79.14% occupancy, but we cannot turn those units and move anybody in until the contract is finished. Scattered sites, 150, 7 are vacant at 96.86%. Pine Acres, 40 units, 98.21% occupancy. J.O. Smith, 20 units, you're at 97.14% occupancy. East Crest and McCall, 94.54% occupancy. Scattered sites 2, that's the 3 new houses that we had rebuilt, they're at 100% occupancy. Total occupancy year-to-date is 93.96%. Pelican House, 46 units, 3 vacant, 97.52% occupancy. Griggs Avenue, 6 units, one is vacant, that puts it at 73.81% occupancy. Lakota Crossing, 72 units, 2 vacant, 95.63%. McGowan Commons, 36 units, it's at 94.63%. If I'm looking at this correctly, some of these percentages are off, because if it's a 0 occupancy, it should be at 100%. So I will speak with Ms. Barnes about this, because it's off a little bit.
So overall, it appears to be pretty good.
Yes.
As far as occupancy is concerned.
I would like to see it at 98, but I know we take a hit when it comes to Creekside, because we can't touch those 36 units.
Right. So, our total, that 93.96 is the number that we're looking at.
Yes, sir.
That's not bad.
No, not bad.
And I don't think there's anybody besides somebody on Park Avenue in New York that's gonna be 100%.
Right.
Or in Chicago or in San Francisco, or other places. All right, very good.
So we'll move on to, contracts and maintenance. Page 11, insurance projects, scattered sites. We had a truck that ran into a house, it's pending insurance. And we're getting an engineer's estimate because the house sold.
Somebody else's truck now, right?
Not what about,
Okay.
not what about. I think they're across the street, they shot across the street.
Wow, okay.
Construction contracts, completed 1 hall floor replacement. COCC 2640 West Palmetto Street, painted all building trim, doors, bumpers, and posts. And if you noticed on the outside, the buildings were painted. This building was painted.
Okay.
Currently, update for tsunami is all our cameras are properly working.
Okay.
Okay, next, finance. I want to again, introduce Ms. Catherine Hope from Hope and Hope, accounting firm, and, you want to speak?
So as I said, we have our Holt. We have a firm that's located on Dozier Boulevard, right here in Florence. And I'm sorry I left my cards and should have brought them, but I will send an email out. I'll request your emails and send out an email for contact, and you can reach out anytime. You know, the goal is that we're gonna get caught up for the fiscal year 25 and be ready to submit our mud reports coming soon, and then for audit, we started back in October of 24. And we've made good headway, we've been engaged about 5 weeks, and we are deep in the process now. We're gonna collect some additional documents that we need today, but, you know, we're here for the Housing Authority and are very thankful for the opportunity.
And, Ms. Hope she said she's going through making sure everything that we have in our system is correct. And she will be doing all the, HUD submissions that's required from our finance department. She will be helping with the budget, dealing with the budget, for next year. And as I said, when you look at the cost that we're paying Dale Rector, our fee accountant, and plus a director of finance, the cost is actually coming in lower than what, for all that she's taking on two hats, as well as any, like for instance, we had a finance person who resigned and moved on, but they can pick up that position and, at the same cost. So they're gonna be continuing to save us money. If we have anybody that leave in our finance department, they'll just pick that up and keep going.
So right now, you'll be working with finance that we have now. And how many employees is still in now?
We had 5, we got 4 now. It's still 4. And, actually, we have some other, I have, struck with, HR and Jennifer. We have, a couple vacancies that we have. We may end up offering 1 or 2 of those positions to somebody in finance, because we don't really need 4 people when we deal with an accounting firm. Because they can actually do it all if we need.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that. Well, do we really need, just asking.
No.
If you got somewhere else you can place the people, I'm not saying to, maybe lay them off or anything. If you can place them in the agency and let Hold and Hope just take over, if that's.
Yeah, but I think we need somebody in there. There will be some things that need to be done. So they won't be. She'll have a computer in the building, but she won't be in the building. So we're gonna need
somebody in there. At least one.
Typically, the way the arrangement works is one person is inside the entity that you have on staff, and we
Right.
communicate, they provide the documents to us for a share file, we prepare the checks and cut it, print it to your printer, you also sign them and are in control of them, but we don't actually, we have no control of the funds, but they are printed here at your request and then, issued out that way.
You answered my question. Actually, they need one person in there. Because there's no need to lose money if we have, like 2 or 3 people still in there. So if you got somewhere to place those people, and hopefully you can find somewhere, I know you can, to place them and just let Hope do the job with that one person in there. Just me saying, just my thinking and my thought.
And she'll be doing the board reports.
Yes, I'll be presenting the financials, I don't have them tonight, like I said, we started, might not have been really 5 weeks ago, maybe close to it, so we don't have anything today, but we will prepare all of the, all the financial reports for the meetings, send out the packet, whatever you request.
And one of the big things is all the HUD requirements. They're very versed on all that stuff, and they know how to submit all the paperwork and all the reports that HUD requires that we do. And I really need that type of support. Somebody who knows how to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we started this process about 10 years ago when we started taking over as contact CFO for different entities, places like that. So I feel like we have perfected it, but also I'm a perfectionist, so every day I keep trying to make it a little bit better. I'm sure they can tell you I have a little bit of OCD and like everything to be exactly right and
It's gotta be numbers.
yeah. So,
I have to know the accurate numbers.
Exactly.
I have to have someone who can help me be up to date on where we are on the status of the budgets and that kind of stuff. So I know when to stop, how to deal with all that. And to be honest with you, I have not really had that since I've been.
Okay, great.
And I think I'll have that.
Do we have in place a person, I agree with you, Linda, we don't need 4 people, one that can, interact with her. Is that person as well trained, educated to do that job. You have that person in place now.
No, we have a number of people who could do that. We just didn't have anyone who could do.
Yeah, I'm saying you didn't have anyone to do this job.
Yes, we have,
That can
all,
communicate.
any one of the four can do that.
Any one of the four can do
Yeah,
what she needs them to do.
yeah.
So we're looking at placing 3 other people somewhere else, if we can.
Let me just make a correction of what I said. I know that we don't do day-to-day, but that's just an observation and a recommendation that I would give you if we're trying to save the agency money. It's up to your ultimate decision, but I want to, just explain that. Yeah.
And that's what I do. No, we're not trying to get into day-to-day, we want the best person working with folks to get the job done.
Okay, now, I did not, bring an executive report today because, we have our attorneys here today, and I know that in the last time we met, you all wanted to get an update on some of the legal issues that we have, and so they are prepared to do that, and so we would have to go into the executive session to do that.
Correct. Anything else?
I move that we go to executive session.
Oh,
Right.
and also, I'm gonna look at this, I'll put this here for y'all, this is our annual report, let's just take it home and look at it.
Yeah.
Alright.
Thank you.
Okay.
Make a motion to come out of executive session first.
Yes.
I move that we come out of executive session. Second.
Motion's been made, and we have a proper second to come out of executive session and move into open session. Are you ready for the question?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Okay.
Commissioner Mendenball Williams, I move that the Hainsworth Sinclair Board Law Firm General Counsel be hired as our general counsel and authorize the executive director to execute the agreement to hire Hainsworth Sinclair Board Law Firm.
Second.
We have a motion to hire Hainsworth Sinclair Boyd as our general counsel. We have a second. Are you ready for the question?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried.
Did we already get one for the ground lease? Did we already do the ground lease? We already did the ground lease.
Yeah.
Was it something else?
Yeah.
Everything was approved.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now we gotta do yours.
I, Commissioner Wanda Vereen, make a motion to authorize legal counsel to negotiate settlement of any potential legal claims as discussed in our executive session.
I second that motion.
Motion has been made to grant our new general counsel approval to litigate,
To negotiate settlement.
negotiate settlement of any new claims. Are you ready for the question?
Yes.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all, that's it.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Okay, and, I think we have y'all lunch.
Close out first. Brother hungry.
You forgot to close it out.
I'm done. I make a motion, I entertain now a motion to close out our session.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second that motion.
All right, motion's been made to adjourn, we have a proper second. Ready for the question? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. If you oppose, you see if you won't come to that.
I would rather have. Thank you so very much.